In today's video, I'm not only going to teach you how to build a villager breeder and get the villagers in there, but I'm also going to teach you the mechanics behind villager breeding so that you can understand how to design your own villager breeder or modify the design I show you today to fit your world. Unlike the animal farms that I taught you about in the last video, there's not a lot of complicated blocks. The only one I'm going to really have to explain to you is the dispenser later on. So until we get to that and before we build the actual farm, let me explain to you the mechanics of how villager breeding works, because unlike other things in the game, you can't just put two villagers together, give them each one thing, and then out pops a baba. The first thing you need, obviously, is two villagers. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't have to have a farmer. This is very commonly assumed because every villager breeder design has a farmer in it, but that's only for the purposes of automating the villager breeder. If you just put two villagers together, and then you have roughly a stack to a stack and a half of bread, potatoes, or carrots, and you give it to one of those villagers, then the two will most likely breed, but only if certain conditions are met. And the conditions go as such. Number one, it has to be daytime. Number two, there has to be at least 3 beds in view. 2 beds for the adult villagers and 1 bed for the baby villagers. When you are designing your villager farms, the more extra beds you put in front of the adult villagers, the more babies will be produced per hour. However, I do highly suggest that you don't do that because you'll just end up with so many villagers you don't know what to do with. If you need like 50 villagers at one given time, then go for it, I guess. But other than that, I really would not focus on doing that. And that's really all you need to know. You need 2 villagers, 3 beds, and then you give the villagers carrots, bread, or potatoes, and they will make bebes. So literally, if you have a setup like this with 3 beds and a couple of villagers, and then you just give them all this bread, give it just a little bit, and you see these hearts come above their heads, and wait for it, wait for it. Out pops a bubber. This is really all you need for a villager breeder. But the problem with this design is twofold. Number one, you have no way to actually isolate the baby villager from the other 2. So you have no way to get that baby villager to where you need it. So things like iron farms or populating your base or whatever the case may be. And problem number 2, it's not automatic. You would have to climb up to this chamber all the time and constantly toss bread to these guys, which is where farmers come into play. Farmer villagers will automatically harvest farmland and replant the seeds, and anything that they harvest goes into their inventory. And villagers, if you were watching the footage there, villagers will actually toss food items back and forth between each other. So bread, carrots, and potatoes will constantly get tossed to each other, and when enough has been harvested by the farmer, then the whole thing starts over again. One thing that I should mention is that you need at least 2 blocks of air above the beds if you have the beds blocked off at all. Like for example, if you have something like this where the beds are blocked off, then the villagers cannot breed. They actually will not breed. They'll do the heart thing still, but then you'll see little puffs of smoke come above their head. If you build your villager breeder and this happens, that just means that you need to make sure there are at least 2 blocks of air above the beds at all times so that the villagers can actually, mech bebes. To start out, I've outlined the look of the farm in general. That orange wool is going to be an inner wall that we're going to build later, but this is the basis of how big the farm is. It's a 14 long by 11 wide space, and this is not my design. I wish I could say it was my design. I'm not that smart. This is actually from a YouTuber called Mortings, and the reason that I picked this design to showcase to you guys today is because in my opinion, this is the best designed villager breeder. It's the most compact. A lot of villager breeders tend to be very long, which is just completely unnecessary, and some villager breeders are very big just for the sake of efficiency. This one is plenty efficient, producing around 8 villagers per hour. Now, the resources that you're going to need for this farm, if you're building this in the desert, you'll need a stack and 16 of dirt. If you're building this literally anywhere else in the world, then you don't really need to. If you're building it in the middle of the ocean, you still need the dirt, but this is what you're going to need for the dirt count if you're building somewhere without dirt. Otherwise, you can ignore this part. Moving on, all the stuff that's actually necessary that you have to have for this farm, you're going to need 2 stacks and 42 of whatever building block you want to use. For the roof, you're going to need 2 stacks and 26 of whatever roof block. This can be slabs, full blocks, glass, whatever the case may be. Listen to me, do not skirt on the roof. Do not deny it. Don't be like, oh, but I can just build the farm super tall and that'll stop zombies from getting in. And I'm not worried about the zombies. I'm not worried about the zombies. I'm not worried about the spiders. I'm not worried about any of that. What I'm worried about is that if lightning strikes, your villagers can turn into witches. And trust me when I tell you this, it is a massive pain in the neck if your villagers turn into witches. I have had to deal with this on no less than like 3 occasions. It took me forever to figure out how witches were getting into the farm until I remembered the lightning strike detail. Just put a roof. Just put a roof. Oh, but can I put lightning rods? Just put a roof. Okay, just trust me, just put a roof. You're going to need 1 glass block. This glass block is very important and essential to the farm, and I'll explain why when we get there. You're going to need 4 beds, 3 water buckets, 1 sign, 3 trap doors. For the redstone components, you'll need a dispenser, at least 1 minecart, 6 powered rails, 1 normal rail, 2 redstone torches, 1 button of your choice. You'll need a hoe to till the dirt, a composter in order to turn one of the villagers into a farmer. You'll need at least 1 slab to put on top of the composter. You'll need at least 2 stacks of carrots, potatoes, or beetroot, and then a little bit extra. I have 3 full stacks here, but this could be like 32. It doesn't have to be a full stack, but at least 2 stacks and then some extra are needed. Then you're going to have 1 light block and 6 torches in order to keep the farm lit so that nothing spawns. To start off this farm, we're going to go ahead and build our 14 by 11 wall. Once you have that in, you're going to go ahead and build this entire farm 2 blocks high. Sorry, I said 2 blocks high before I built this. I meant 3 blocks high. You're going to have a 3 block high wall. The reason that we have this is so that the villagers cannot jump out. Every AI controlled mob in the game can only jump 1 block high, and that includes you. So if you ever need to build a wall for literally anything, make sure you build at least 2 blocks high. Once we've got the farm built up, you're going to go to either end, whichever one you want, and you're going to count 4 blocks out from the wall. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to go to any of the other side walls and you're going to do the same thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, where these 2 blocks should intersect is going to be the center of your farm, right? So you've got this coming out here. So you're going to want a block right here. Go ahead and dig down 1 and then place your light block that I told you to grab earlier in this little center point right here. Then from the center point, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Then once you have this little cross symbol right here, go ahead and fill it all in. Once you have that filled in, you're going to come up to any one of these. You're going to break this block here. You're going to put a dirt block here, put the composter, break this bottom block, replace your dirt block. Then you're going to take your till the soil. With that gap, you're going to take your water bucket and put a water source underneath your composter. Go ahead and crouch and put your single slab on top of your composter. This is just to stop the villagers from jumping up onto the composter, because otherwise they'll jump down off of it and then they'll like break the soil, and villagers do not retill the soil. They replant the crops, but they don't retill the soil. Now, the mechanics behind this is that 1 source block can hydrate up to 4 farmland in any direction. That's why we counted 4 from the wall. That's how we know this is our center. 4 farmland in every direction. This 1 little block is going to hydrate all of this dirt. So let's go ahead and till all this dirt up. Once you have all the soil tilled up, go ahead and plant your carrots, potatoes, or beetroot, whichever one you've chosen. After you've done that, you're going to come to the edge of your farm here and you're going to build a little wall from one end to the other. And you're going to make this wall 2 high, just like this. At the edge of this one, I would leave this little staircase and fill it in just a moment, and I'll show you why. Before you fill in the rest of this wall, because you're going to need to get to the top of this, you're going to go ahead and go to the center of each wall and just place a torch. Line it up with your composter, just kind of makes your life a little bit easier. And what this is basically for is to keep the farm lit, make sure nothing can spawn in here, and also make sure that the crops are always able to be planted. Between these torches and the light block that I had you place at the bottom there, everything should be, you know, hunky-dory. Go ahead and jump up onto this wall and get yourself that full experience. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So did I just say full experience? I am stupid. All right, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna come out from the edge of these walls and you're going to find whichever edge is not where the villagers will be collected. So what I mean by that is we're going to have two chambers. We're going to have a bed chamber and we're going to have a collection chamber. Whichever side you want to collect the villagers on needs to be the collection chamber, okay? So for example, if you're building inside and there's a wall right here, then this is the edge you're going to want to start from. Vice versa, if there's a wall here, then this is the edge you're going to want to start from. This is the most important thing to keep in mind because once this gets built, it's a pain in the neck to take down and flip around, okay? So whichever edge you want to be your bed chamber, you're going to count out 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 6th block, you're going to go ahead and build yourself a 3-high wall, just like that. Go ahead and take a torch and place it in the center of this 5-block room right there, just like that. And then you can take your 6th and final torch and really place it anywhere on like maybe these 2 walls. And this, again, is just to help stop stuff from spawning and to keep the farm lit. Now, once you have this wall built, you're just going to come over to this side or that side, really doesn't matter. And you're going to place your beds starting from the edge. You're going to go 1, 2, skip this block, 3, 4, just like that. All right, once you've built your 2 chambers, you're going to come over in between these 2 beds and you're going to break down 2, right? 1, 2, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to place 2 blocks just like this. So you have this. Then you're going to come over here and you're going to make sure that you're facing inward, crouch, and you're going to put 1, 2 trap doors, uncrouch, go ahead and open them up. They should look exactly like this. And then you're going to crouch and you're going to put a 3rd trap door just like this. Basically what this is for is to stop the adult villagers from trying to get to the beds while also allowing the baby villagers to go ahead and run underneath. You're going to break this bottom block just like this. So what happens is that mobs think that open trapdoors are full blocks. What that means is that the mobs always see the trapdoor like this. So they think that they can always just walk over this trapdoor even when it's open. This is going to make it to where when the baby villagers try to get toward the bed, they're going to fall straight in this hole. Now, once you have the trapdoors in, you're going to drop into this hole. You're going to dig down 3, right? 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to put a water bucket right here. Looking out in front of you, you're going to go 1, just like that. And then you're going to immediately turn right and you're going to dig 4 this way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this water is flowing in just because I'm building with sand. If you're building with solid blocks, then you're going to end up with something that looks a little bit like this. You're going to take your sign and you're going to put it at eye level, just like that. And that's going to cut off this water source from above. For whatever reason, signs stop water from flowing. So what ends up happening with the collection system is the villager babies will be born. They will run over. They'll think that they can run over this gap because of the trap doors, but they cannot. Then they'll drop into this. They will be pushed this way. And then once they grow up, they'll be tall enough to try to swim up out of this area where they will immediately be pushed into this. Now, once you're being pushed over here, you're going to go ahead and break these 2 blocks just so that you can get out. You're going to replace the solid block on top, and then you're going to place that glass block we talked about way in the beginning in the resources. The reason this glass block is here is because it is a transparent block. How this works is that if this block was a solid block, we would not be able to collect the villagers, right? The minecart system that we're going to set up in just a moment is going to go under and come up back out. If this was a solid block, if this glass block was solid, the villagers would not be able to be pulled through. And so we're just putting this here so that the villagers can actually get pulled through this block, okay? I don't know how this happened. Apparently my mic got muted for this one singular bit of instruction, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to place a powered rail underneath the window and then a redstone torch right next to the powered rail in order to turn it on. Once we've placed our powered rail, we're going to come from the corner. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 on this block. We're going to dig out an L formation just like this. Hop on in, dig one down, dig one forward, take a right turn immediately and dig two forward. And then you're going to come here and you're going to break this block. And then you're going to have to break these two blocks. Now, the thing about this is that we're digging in sand. So once again, we're going to have to get our solid blocks ready, and we're just going to replace those sand blocks so that we don't have any problems. Break those two blocks and you should end up with a tunnel that looks exactly like this, okay? Okay, next you're going to take your powered rails. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. On this fifth block, you're going to place a normal rail. Then you're going to take this powered rail from up here and you're going to place it right there, and it should do a little curve. Then you're going to take your last and final powered rail and you're going to place it here, and you should see these light up because this powered rail is being powered. Redstone torches, redstone blocks, levers, whatever the case may be, always power 3 of the closest powered rails as long as they're touching, okay? Now we're going to come into this block right here, place the dispenser with the eyes and mouth facing out here. Real quick refresher, a dispenser is a redstone block that can store items. When the dispenser is powered, it will shoot those items out. However, if you put an item that can actually be used into a dispenser, such as, for example, if I knew how to spell, a water bucket, then the dispenser will, instead of shooting the water bucket out, will actually use the water bucket. And if you just redo the pulse, you'll see that it takes it back in. Pretty nifty little device. This is used to basically automatically, well, use things like fire charges, wind charges, water buckets, shears, and more. For more information on how the dispenser works, you can check out my last video that I did in this series where I taught you guys how to use the dispenser for the purposes of both an automatic chicken farm and an automatic wool farm. Go ahead and put in your minecart and then crouch and put a button right on top. Now, when we do this, the minecart should come out and land on this powered rail. Let's give it a test. Just like that. Once you have a villager in the corner, which you can look through this window and be like, hey, there's a little guy in there. You can go ahead and press this button, and then a villager will be collected just like that. And you can do that as many times as you want. Be free, my little friend. You can do that as many times as you want. Now, one thing that you might be wondering is, how do I actually get villagers into the villager breeder? Well, thankfully, this has been like revolutionized with one massive thing: the Happy Ghast. The Happy Ghast is the best thing to ever happen to villager breeders in the entire world. This makes working with villagers so much easier. So I'm just going to show you real quick how to capture a villager and how to attach it to your Happy Ghast and, you know, get moving. All right, so once you've got your Happy Ghast like snowballs, so you'll use a snowball, then you'll grab the harness, make sure that the harness is on it, and then you will grab your boat. With your boat, you're going to basically place it and get villagers to get into the boat. You're going to want 2 villagers in this boat, so let's go ahead and drive this boat a little bit over here. See if we can go grab this guy. And there we go. 2 villagers in the boat. You're going to take one of your leads, and you're just going to attach it to the boat. Get some stuff out of your way. Then you're going to take your snowball and you're just going to make sure that the Happy Ghast sees you. Come here, bud. Come on. Come on. Look at me. Come on. A little bit lower. Little bit lower. Okay. And then you're going to select your lead, jump and press it just like that. And then the Happy Ghast is led. And now you're going to crouch. This can be a little bit finicky, but you're going to crouch and click, and then the boat is attached to the Happy Ghast. Okay. With your snowball, when it's low enough, get in your empty hand, jump and click. And now you are on top of your gas and the boat is attached to your Happy Ghast. All that's left to do is just to fly it over your farm. I almost forgot to mention, please make sure that you have some shears handy when you get there. You're going to fly the boat over the farm. You can use third-person mode to help you kind of finagle this a little bit. I also sometimes like to turn off the UI, just kind of helps me do that. Then you're just going to go ahead and aim it, bring it on down, use your third person to make sure that the boat is actually in here. Then you can crouch, grab your shears, right click the Happy Ghast, and the boat is now unsheared. And then you can, from any point in your farm, just kind of crouch. Make sure you're looking at the edge of the boat. It's always good to have an axe on you. Crouch, look at the boat, and just kind of press it like that. And there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Your villagers are now inside of your thingamabob. Woo, we are finally done with this video. Oh my goodness gracious. This thing took me like 4 hours to record because I kept forgetting certain materials, and then I kept messing up, and then things weren't going correctly, and I got frustrated, and oh my god, making tutorials is hard. But I am so glad that I was able to teach you guys how to make this very simple villager farm. I think the next time I teach you guys how to make something, I'm going to do it not in the desert. I thought making it in the desert would be kind of cool, but the sand just kind of like made me had to keep clarifying things, and it was really annoying. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below any questions that you might have. If the farm isn't working, isn't doing anything, then just kind of tell me and I'll see if I can help you figure it out. Other than that, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.